The Frenchman's quintuple stint is epic. And more importantly, he's given the team a lead of over 1 minute.
5 stints on those tyres. Those tyres will be well worn. Andre Lotterer will be the driver who takes the wheel of that car.
I knew we were doing well, and I was really pumped up. You know, I was doing these fast lap times in the morning. I felt great about the car, and Ben comes out of the car and giving a little tap on the shoulders. Don't worry, man, I got this.
When you think, oh, I'm gonna be 3.5 hours in the car, you're thinking about a normal car. In normal condition, driving on the highway and boring in a car, but in a racing car in Le Mans, you're not boring. You know, it's just you keep pushing, and when your stint is finished, you say, wow, it's already finished.
Just woke up, jumped in the car, and being a sandwich in between the Peugeots fighting like that was the hardest wake-up call I've never got. But the car is good, really.
Andre Lotterer doesn't need a wake-up call. He's fast from the word go. The Audi's relentless speed soon brings it upon an old nemesis.
Oh, good. Another Peugeot for the number 2 Audi to deal with.
Yes, another
Excellent.
one.
It's the number 8 Peugeot, the car Trillier tamed by passing it on the tarmac 3 hours earlier.
Oh, and he gets cut off by the number 8 Peugeot. Lotterer was pretty much alongside as they went into the underneath the Dunlap bridge, and just absolutely got his nose chopped off by Frank Montagny, and then Montagny a little swerve as they were going through this Forest S's to try and keep Lotterer behind him.
When a car is many laps down and not battling for the lead, or not even battling to stay on the lead lap, I think that was overly boisterous.
Lotterer pulls around on the outside. He's not going to be able to do it here.
Andre, that Peugeot is 2 laps down. He is 2 laps down.
He falls in behind Montagny as they go into the second chicane, right up on his underneath him again as Montagny slowed down in the middle of the corner. Just absolutely, this is unconscionable.
There was a lot of what can only be described as car banter between them.
This is being a little cheeky here at this point, Chuck.
Cheeky? Cheeky? That's dangerous.
Any other race, I would have probably just gone crazy over the radio, but I didn't say anything, and I just was waiting for my best opportunity to pass.
Dives down the inside and takes over the spot and puts Montagny a lap down.
In Mulsanne, in the last moment, I just dive in and took a big risk, and you feel it's not necessary to take those big risks with a lapped car, but you know, at the same time, clock was ticking and had to do it.
Ah, the Wolfgang Ulrich gives it the yeah.
Emotion from Dr. Ulrich, we don't often see really graphic illustrations of it. Just that little... And you could see how everybody in the pit fed off that.
Andre Lotterer with 3 hours and 6 minutes remaining gets by one obstacle and now must go in search of the next.
No need to search. Trouble comes to the race leader from the skies.
Oh, well, it looks like it might be raining a bit harder out on the far side of the circuit.
With under 3 hours to go, an inconsequential drizzle becomes a menacing rain.
This is the rain that we have been expecting, and it has arrived.
Once again, Peugeot benefits from having 3 cars still in the race.
When one car is really leading and the 2 others are just behind, they are not fighting for the win, you can send another one other car and look how is intermediate tires. Then, in that situation, you can help the leading car.
Sure enough, Peugeot uses its number 8 car as a guinea pig by shoeing it with grooved intermediate tires.
Spots of red on the track now, and Peugeot are rolling the dice, putting a set of inters the track surface is actually just beginning to show signs of dampness. And what that is effectively doing is cooling the slick tyres.
Yeah.
So you're effectively running on cold tyres.
To put on wet tyres or not, that's Audi's dilemma. But it's one they've faced before.
When we had the rain, that made a huge difference having Howden there, because he's obviously been in the situation, for example, 2008, where he made that critical decision with the tyres.
This could be a pivotal point in the race. Who makes the right choice regarding tyres?
Remember, the inters were very, very good in the dry.
It ain't going to be dry for long, huh? It isn't going to be dry for long. Box this lap, Tom. Box this lap for intermediates.
It's dry everywhere except at you. Everywhere else is completely dry.
Tom, it's not. It's pissing it down here.
That could be the deciding moment in this motor race. Either way.
These tires are perfect. Half the track is wet. Thank you very much. Now we are talking.
3 years later, it's Lena's car and Lena's call. Calculating the rain will be short-lived. She sticks with the slicks. Now it's up to her driver to ride out the storm.
With those sports cars, it's really tough to feel the grip when the track is a bit wet with slicks. And you don't see if the track is wet or dry. That was probably the most difficult race of my life.
What's the track like?
Very tricky, very tricky.
Number 2 Audi's once comfortable lead is beginning to erode. Simone Pagenaud is now less than 30 seconds behind, and his sister car, the number 7 Peugeot, is about to unlap itself. This is a critical moment in the race. Lotterer must remain cautious. Under these wet conditions, discretion is the better part of valor. Teams work for years to design a car that can handle the grueling toll 24 hours of racing can take. But no matter how much they prepare, the race can still end in an instant.
Just one little silly moment, and all 22 hours can be blown.
Lotterer's prudence eventually pays off. The rain relents and the German gets his edge back.
It started to dry again, and I knew that when it was dry, we were a bit faster, so I was just pushing every lap as much as possible.
Andre, stay on full throttle. Stay on full throttle.
Furiously working to stay ahead of the number 9 Peugeot, the race-leading Audi comes upon Pagenaud's slower teammate.
Andre Lotterer has his windscreen full of the back of Peugeot number 7. And Marc Genet pulls in and when it hits him, Marc Genet's just hit the leader.
He just turned in and we went, boom, we hit big. And I was like, no. But you gotta fight with it. This is the situation you're in, and I'm the only one who can deal with it.
He's forced him off the road. He's forced him off the road. That is quite remarkable. What is he thinking of? This is absolutely disgraceful. This is disgraceful. What are Peugeot thinking of? This is disgraceful.
When a car is many laps down and not even battling to stay on the lead lap, I think they went across the line. Literally as well as metaphorically.
I took contact with the Peugeot people and asked them, please, let the cars that go for victory, one car from yours and the one from ours, give the chance to fight it out between themselves. And then they sent me back an SMS, don't worry, the other cars will not interfere. And then I could tell Andre, attack and go for it.
And the Audi has got through, but that was dangerous in the extreme. That was nonsense.
If I were in the Audi pit at the moment, I would feel like I was walking on a tightrope, because you only have to look down that list and, you know, there's a minute and then there's 9, 8, 7 Peugeots just queued up.
The number 2 Audi has done heroic work. But how long can its drivers bear the weight of leading the 24 hours of Le Mans?
People think, wow, all the pressure on these guys. But for us in the car, in the seat, and within our little group of people, we were focused on racing, performing, and it didn't matter if they were there or not. And pressure is there anyways in racing, and you learn to deal with that.
If you feel pressure is heavy, you start to do mistakes. And I never felt pressure. It felt for me more like motivation to do it.
Started to become a little bit more realistic, and the chance of a win was creeping up. But what was really creeping through my mind was how small our gap was, and at one stage it was getting smaller, and it was quite a worry.
She was shitting her pants about 2.5 hours before the end of the race. I know Lena very well, and I could tell that she was feeling the strains of leading Le Mans race.
All race, Peugeot's strategy has been simple. More laps per fuel tank means less pit stops. And saving several minutes in pit lane would eventually equal victory. With just over an hour left in the race, that tactic is about to be tested.
Andre, box this lap, box this lap.
Holding a 1-minute lead, Audi is about to do its penultimate pit stop. The number 9 Peugeot, having just pitted about 15 minutes ago, should only have to come in once more for enough fuel to finish the race. This is the moment when both teams' race strategies will come to a head. If Audi can get in and out of the box before Peugeot passes them, their strategy will have proven best, and they'll be one step closer to winning. Lotterer emerges from pit lane with his lead intact.
I'm amazed that the Audis can make extra pit stops and hold a 16-second advantage.
Over the course of the race, Audi has pitted 3 more times than Peugeot. Yet a 10th victory at Le Mans is now within reach. Just don't tell Dr. Ulrich that.
I have learned in Le Mans that the race is never over before really the finish is there. I always pushed myself, not thinking about it's done, because it's done if the checkered flag is down.
Lena, it's tire alarm, it's tire alarm. Copy that, I'll let him know.
Almost immediately we noticed the tyre pressures, and we kept an eye on it, but we were developing a slow puncture. We were monitoring it. We hadn't said anything to him, but he actually came over the radio and said, "Is everything okay?"
My left rear was dropping. I went on the radio, I have a slow puncture on the left.
And I confirmed to him, we've got a slow puncture, but we've got to stay out. If we don't and we have to do an extra pit stop, we will have lost this, so.
Andre, when you get on the straight, we want to analyse the data to see if we need to make a change.
The data confirms Lena's fears. The race leader must box to address the puncture. But with little more than 45 minutes to go, Audi cannot bring Lotterer in right away. Pit now and risk running out of fuel before the end of the race. A potentially disastrous repeat of what happened at Spa earlier in the year.
Paul, this is getting interesting because all of a sudden Simon Pagenaud is only seconds behind Lotterer, and this is not as cut and dried as we may have once thought.
Lotterer guides the number 2 Audi through nearly 5 laps on a slowly deflating tyre. And it's finally time to pit. With no margin for error, Lena is faced with one last race-deciding choice.
On the pit wall, I had Howden next to me, and the conversation that we had was whether we changed one tyre or all 4.
It's not an easy call. Victory at the end. Mr. Le Mans himself is asked to weigh in.
And I was called down to hear what I would like to have done in this situation. And yeah, for me, I said all 4 for sure. You need your weapons sharp.
This was a very important moment. And then at the end, we decided it's the better way to change all 4 tires.
That's when the call was made. We change all 4, give Andre the best chance.
Andre, box this lap.
Copy.
It's all teamwork, and in the end, the right decision was taken.
Lottery well.
38 minutes remain. The number 2 Audi and the number 9 Peugeot will both pit. The Audi will get new rubber on all 4 wheels. The Peugeot will take on only fuel. It's a calculated risk. Old rubber will compromise the Peugeot's handling, but the faster stop may allow them to take over the race lead.
Here comes the leader of the race for its final stop.
Should be a short fill so they can get to the end. It is the final scheduled stop for this car. They are doing a tyre stop. They're cutting down an extra risk. They're changing tyres, so they're going to have a fresh set of boots.
They haven't got time to do that because Pagenaud's come in at the same time. And Pagenaud is about to roll out.
And so he's fired up, he's rolling, it's going to be a battle on the grid, and he's got away ahead. The distance is about 6-7 seconds. That was a very, very clever risk, that one.
So 35 minutes left to go, Johnny, and they left the pits 7.8 seconds between them. There's a steely determination in the eyes of Dr. Wolfgang Ullrich.
With his weapons now razor sharp, Lotterer attacks the circuit. Setting a blistering pace, Pagenaud struggles to match. Strategy means nothing now. The balance of this race will be decided by pure speed.
Andre Lotterer, 347 laps completed, 12.3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, led by Simon Pagenaud. This is honest to goodness drama, excitement all the way to the end, with Andre Lotterer still only leading by 13 seconds.
I know, and anything can happen.
I'm really nervous.
It's horrible. I don't want to be here, to be honest.
With under 10 minutes remaining in the race, one mistake, no matter how minute, could end any chance for victory. The pressure is stifling. Lotterer handles it by calmly extending his lead.
The gap has gone out to 17.7 seconds.
It hasn't gone up through one big jump. It's just been tickle, tickle, tickle. Every lap, a little bit quicker, a little bit quicker.
Who's writing the script for this? Will you tell them to turn the drama level down to maybe 11 or 12 out of 10?
Andre, stay cool. It's one more lap. One more lap.
And we still hold our breath on the final lap, which will be a full-speed final lap. There's about 7.5 miles still to run.
The 2011 24 Hours of Le Mans has come down to the final 3.5 minutes. One flawless lap is all that separates Audi from victory. In years past, the Audi crew would line up along the pit wall, celebrating the win. But not this year. This race is far too close for ceremony, and the entire team stays in the garage. "24 hours are in the books. Red Sonja rules the Circuit de la Sarthe."
There's 4 Peugeots behind, but there's 4 rings on the top of the podium at Le Mans 2011.
The number 2 Audi takes the checkered flag by just over 13 seconds. It's Audi's 10th win in a dozen years.
You go through the line and then boom, suddenly all your emotions come. You're like, wow, we made it, fantastic. When you watch the images after, you just have to cry a little bit because it's just so much, so intense.
For me, it was a mental roller coaster with the perfect finish.
This was the nicest moment in my career, almost in my life, I would say.
Yeah, this is getting goosebumps now. It's an amazing feeling to win Le Mans. You know, it's you enter in the history of the best drivers.
I was really, really happy, and then I cried. So I was, yeah, like a baby.
It's a whole year's worth of work that culminates in 24 hours of racing. It was a really big moment, I think.
Big is an understatement. The 2011 Le Mans is historic. Lena Gade is the first woman ever to win the race as lead engineer.
When she found herself alone with her car and the drivers fighting the 3 Peugeots, I think the pressure on her was immense, but still at the end, it was her that had to manage it, to work it out perfect. I'm very proud on her.
H had said over the radio that he was really proud of me and I'd done a really good job. Everything I've learned from him, but also knowing that I guess I hadn't let him down because he'd taken a real gamble pushing me forward to be a race engineer. So it was a little bit emotional.
It's just incredible, you know. It's difficult to realize, but it was a very hard race with a very strong competitor, and it makes the race even better and the win even better.
In only their second year together as an Audi team, Ben Trellier, Andre Lotterer, and Marcel Fassler have made their mark. They are now and forever champions. 13.854 seconds. Not a lot of time, but time enough to stand atop the racing world, to savor a hard-fought victory, and to never forget that at Le Mans, every second counts.